Mercedes-Benz has been expanding their lineup of electric vehicles under the EQ banner. We saw the EQS begin as their flagship debut, followed by the EQS SUV, and now we're looking at to the next phase. It's now on to the EQE, with the first being the EQE sedan. So EQ as a category of electric vehicles, it actually stands for emotion and intelligence. So you've got your emotion and intelligence as the whole brand. Now the EQE would basically be the E-Class. It's not built on the E-Class, it's a dedicated platform, but it's kind of categorized in that midsize. However, in my week of driving this so far, I've discovered that the E actually stands for something else. It's not so much E-Class, but it's actually more eye-catching. This thing has really gotten a lot of eyeballs, so I want to tell you about it. Let's look now at the EQE 500. So with the Mercedes EQE, you have as a power source a 90.6 kilowatt hour battery, and it can be driven to either a single motor or dual motor system. With the single motor, you've got your EQE 350 Plus, which would be a single motor, but there's a 350 4MATIC, of course, it's four-wheel drive, and you have what I'm driving, which is a dual motor, the EQE 500 with 4MATIC. So those are your options there. In terms of power, what you're looking at is with the single motor, with the EQE 350 and 350 Plus, you have 288 horsepower, and with the 350 Plus, which is just the single motor non-4MATIC, you've got 391 pound-feet of torque, but you get more torque when you have the 350 4MATIC, so then you have 288 horsepower and 564 pound-feet of torque. With this EQE 500, you've got obviously your dual motor system, so you have a total output of 402 horsepower and 633 pound-feet of wonderful, instantly accessible torque. There is supposed to be an AMG version of this, and it's going to have ridiculous numbers, something like over 600 horsepower and insane amounts of torque. But when we get to that, we'll talk about it further if we're behind the wheel of one. With all that power, what can we get in terms of acceleration time? Well, with your single motor, your 350 or the 4MATIC, you're going to look at 0 to 60 miles an hour in either 6 or 6.2 seconds. With this EQE 500, you're looking at 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. And I did give it a bit of an acceleration test, and I filmed it, so you can take a look at it right now.
3, 2, 1, 0.
So how far can you go on a single charge? Well, its posted numbers from Mercedes is with the 350 Plus, that's your single motor, non-4MATIC. There's your maximum range available, and that's 490 kilometers or 305 miles. With the 350, which is 4MATIC, and the 500 that I'm driving, the range is actually 418 kilometers or 260 miles. I have to say, and I say this every time I review an EV, this range is just an estimate. It is based on strict testing protocols and conditions by governments or the automakers. It can certainly be higher or lower depending upon a host of factors. Where you live, whether you're in summer or winter, the type of driving style you have. Are you more aggressive? Are you more easygoing? Do you have more highway driving? Do you have more city driving? The elevation changes that you're experiencing. All sorts of things can impact your actual range, just like fuel economy. I'm driving this in early spring. I filled it up twice to 100% in the week that I've had it. Both times my range estimate when I disconnected the charger was over 418, and one time I got it up to, I think, almost 460 kilometers. So that's just evidenced by my driving habits and other factors. Use it only as a baseline. Now, how fast is it going to take you to charge this battery? Well, this 90.6 kilowatt hour battery can be DC fast charged on the 170 kilowatt charging capacity. You're going to go from 10 to 80% in 32 minutes. And that doesn't matter which 350, 350 Plus, or 500 you have. which actually is slower than I thought. That's a little disappointing to me. I would have hoped it would have been at least 200, and if not, getting to the higher outputs. And again, that time also can change depending upon different conditions, your state of charge when you hit it, all sorts of things like that. With your level 2 charging, basically it's overnight. I've been using my home charger this week, and obviously I go to bed, not a problem. The EQE Executive Sedan is the second model from the Mercedes EQ series to be based on the premium class electric architecture, which follows the EQS, and it's targeted differently compared to the EQS as well. In terms of overall design when compared to the EQS, the EQE is more streamlined with a slighter shorter wheelbase, shorter overhangs, and more recessed flanks. Especially from the rear profile, the EQE does present a more traditional and sportier appearance. In addition to the striking overall silhouette, I think the unique Alpine Gray paint color was different enough to garner the attention it was getting. I liked the color, and I actually appreciated how it didn't show dirt easily, which really is something very helpful when shooting vehicle reviews like this at the end of winter and the beginning of spring. If you are looking at the exterior of the EQE as someone was about to make a tight radius turn, you might also notice the available rear axle steering, which pivots up to 10 degrees and reduces the turning radius from 41 feet down to 35. The exterior dimensions of the EQE are comparable to the CLS, and as with the EQS, both the rear window and the trunk lid are fixed. On the inside, the EQE's dimensions clearly exceed those of today's E-Class, with more front shoulder room and longer overall interior length. It's roomy enough in both the front and back, although taller people might be a bit tight for headroom if sitting in the second row. Up front, the EQE is standardly equipped with a 12.8-inch central OLED touchscreen in portrait orientation and a 12.3-inch instrument cluster. The setup is perfectly fine, but the overall shape of the front tells you that what should be there is the available MBUX Hyperscreen with its 3 screens embedded into a 56-inch single pane of glass frontage. Having driven and reviewed both the EQS sedan and SUV that were equipped with the Hyperscreen, I can tell you it's a visually impressive and technologically advanced option. But it's basically a $10,000 option in Canada and just over $7,200 in the US, so it doesn't come cheap. Regardless of the size or orientation of your center screen, the EQE still provides plenty of accessible technology, features, and information. One of the most interesting features and something I've not seen before is car wash mode, where with a single command, the side mirrors fold in and the side windows and sunroof close. The information from the rain sensor is suppressed, so the windshield wipers remain switched off during the car wash, which is something that's happened to me many times before. My EQE tester came equipped with the upgraded Burmeister sound system and energizing package, which provides a series of 10-minute cycled combinations of sounds, music, and massage or heating and cooling of the seats to bring you up, calm you down, or something in between. And even with the smaller center screen and less overwhelming frontage of the interior compared to the Hyperscreen, the optional ambient lighting controls still create a visual spectacle, especially at night, and I think this is one that is absolutely unparalleled. Sometimes it's the little things that really impress me in a vehicle, and with the MBUX advanced system here, the Hey Mercedes, there's some important little features in here that I really need, such as reminders of things that I tend to forget. You know, with a lot of wireless phone charging, they tend to be in places that maybe aren't obvious, you don't see them all the time, and you may forget to actually take it with you when you're leaving the car, and Mercedes has figured it out. So I've just pulled into my driveway here, gonna press stop here, and I'm going to do my seatbelt. I'm gonna turn it off, and it still thinks I'm here, but when I open the door, it will remind me that I forgot something.
Just a minute, you'd forgotten your phone.
I love that. I need more of this in my life. As for driving impressions, this EQE is a lot of fun. All electrics are fun to drive, but there's a couple of things that I certainly note with respect to this one here. Now, you have regen modes in all EVs. Here, instead of your paddle shifters, you have the ability to shift up or down. And with Mercedes, unfortunately, I'd like to have more regen flexibility. Basically, you have no regen, normal recuperation, or heavy. And with none, you basically can coast. And this thing coasts like nothing else. I mean, you can go forever just on the momentum of this vehicle. But I would have preferred something a little bit lighter, because even with normal, which it defaults to, you've always got to keep your pressure on the accelerator pedal, and over long drives, it just fatigues my foot a bit. With dynamic drive modes, you have your Eco, your Comfort, and Sport. I have to admit, in this case, I don't really notice a huge difference. There really isn't a substantial feel in Sport compared to Comfort, like you would see in AMG versions. It's fine. I mean, that's it. We're still dealing with a powerful vehicle. It's just that you're not going to get a dramatic different experience overall between one drive mode and the next.
As for pricing, the EQE in Canada is available in two versions for now, as the 350 Plus rear-wheel drive is not offered. MSRP for the EQE 350 is $85,600 and $95,000 for the EQE 500. My 500 tester included several options and add-ons, which brought the price up to $120,505. which that's going to be about the same price that we're expecting the AMG EQE with its 677 horsepower to be when it's launched later this year. In the US, buyers will have three options to choose from initially, with the rear-wheel drive 350 Plus starting at $74,900. The EQE 350 4MATIC will begin at $77,900, and the dual-motor EQE 500 begins at $85,900.
Brand loyalty is a thing. It's a tough thing to overcome when you're trying to conquest and grow sales on your own. Especially this is the case with luxury vehicles, because luxury brand loyalists are really hardcore. That said, I think this Mercedes EQE does have a lot of potential to be a kind of a conquest brand or model. It's got great styling, lots of power. For the pricing point that it has in terms of luxury EVs, it's pretty fair. So overall, I really think that this will be fun to watch and see if it does purge people away from their other luxury brands, especially if they're looking for an EV. If you're not subscribed to my channel, I'd love it if you consider doing so. And if you are subscribed, please remember to ring the bell so that you're notified of every time I upload something new. That's my look at the 2023 Mercedes EQE. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Eric Novak. Thanks for watching.